Good morning and rise and shine, and welcome to Live at 6:05. I am Dr. Amy Nussbaum. Excited to have you here at the beginning of a new week. And I just have some questions for you this morning. Have you ever been in a situation where things just don't seem to be going your way, and you wonder if God's plan really applies to you? Maybe do you find yourself hesitating, unsure whether to move forward with where you think you're heading because you're not sure if it's the right time or even if it'll work out. You've got these dreams and these goals, and you hesitate whether, maybe it is just a dream and it's not something that you can actually accomplish. Or maybe if you are a person of faith, have you ever doubted that God's plan for your life is actually good, especially when you don't see how um, is it actually a good thing? Is this actually where you should be heading? Because you just don't see how things are going to improve if you were to follow this path that you feel called to. So, if any of that resonates with you, you're not alone. In fact, it's something most of us struggle with from time to time. And today I want to talk to you about that moment when doubt creeps in. Doubt creeps in for all of us in one way, shape, or form from one time or another. When you're unsure about where you're headed, and again, if you're a person of faith, maybe you're questioning God's plan for your life or why it's so important that you go down this path. But it is so important for you to address this doubt before it until you get stuck, because the cost of staying in doubt is that you will get and stay stuck. Because here's the truth: when we doubt God's plan for our lives, the bigger plan for our lives, we remain in a place of hesitation and we stay stuck, and the fear of uncertainty often will paralyze us. Sometimes we overanalyze things and we have analysis paralysis, but we miss the opportunities that God has already prepared us for because of our doubt, because of this paralysis. But think about it: you don't believe that God has a good plan for you. Or maybe, how can you take the steps necessary to move forward? You just don't see a way to make it happen. It just doesn't make sense. When we let doubt rule our decisions, it impacts not just our actions, but it also impacts our faith, our relationships with other people, our relationship with God, and honestly our overall well-being, because then we're filled with more stress and anxiety and uncertainty, and it just shuts us down. But here's the thing: Jeremiah 29:11 tells us, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope." So many of us, we know this verse. We've gotten this verse on graduation cards, or maybe we've given it away to for others. But really think about what this says: is that God's plan for you is good, that um, the plans for you are filled with hope and they are filled with a future that is good for you. But when we don't trust in the plan, when we hesitate because we think we know better, or we remain stuck because of fear and doubt, we just don't go anywhere, and things don't change if nothing changes, right? Nothing changes if nothing changes. But here's the thing: you will never see the beautiful future that God has created for you, that He has created you for. He's promised that if we, step in faith, He will take care of us. And this future that He has created for us, we could miss out on it if we stay in fear and doubt. And I know it can be hard to trust in God's timing when everything around you seems to be falling apart. The career you worked so hard for may not be where you thought it would be. And how many of us are there, right? 10 years ago, did you think you would be right where you are right now? I didn't. My path has taken twists and turns all over the place, but that's what led me to coaching, honestly. And that's what that places that desire within me to help you get where you need to be. So relationships, maybe they feel uncertain, or maybe you're facing challenges that seem impossible, and it's in these moments that we begin to question: God, do you really know what you're doing? Do you really have a plan here? What am I really trusting in this unforeseen person, and sometimes we can start to question our faith. But Isaiah 55, 8 and 9 reminds us, for my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so my ways are higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. I know it stinks, but God's timing is not our timing. And his ways, while they are perfect, are definitely not our ways. The way we think things should be done. I mean, how many of us we pray and we offer God solutions, right? God, this would be amazing. If you want to do it this way, that'd be great. I mean, not to tell you how to do your thing, but this is the path I see forward. But we can't always understand why things happen the way they do. But we can trust that his plan is ultimately for our good. Because here's something we don't always think about: the consequences of staying in doubt. When you refuse to trust, when you refuse to take steps forward in that leap of faith, you lock yourself in a state of fear and indecision. You become paralyzed by uncertainty, and your potential stays dormant within you, which, let me tell you, that is what the enemy loves, is when you are paralyzed in fear and doubt and you don't do what you are called to do. um, the enemy doesn't have to worry about you, but you're missing out on so many opportunities. Every time you doubt God's plan, you risk missing out on the opportunities that he has placed right in front of you. Those open doors, you might be too scared to walk through them. Those relationships or jobs that seem to be coming your way, they might pass you by because you're hesitant to act. And here's the thing: without trusting God's plan, you can't move forward. Doubt will keep you stuck in the same place, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. You'll keep going around in circles in your mind, around and round, and you just think, well, what's next? Without ever taking the next step, without taking any steps forward. But one of the scariest things is that the more you doubt God's plan, the more fear and anxiety they actually grow. So it's easy to get consumed in the what ifs and the worst case scenarios and start to believe that, oh, I can't do that because this might happen. But trust helps calm the storm. Without it, fear becomes a constant companion and overshadows every decision and every step. And honestly, when you doubt God's plan for your life, it doesn't just affect you, it affects those around you, especially those who love you most. You might isolate yourself from others, fearing that they won't understand your struggles. Your uncertainty can also hinder your relationships because you're not stepping into the roles God has for you, whether it's in your family or at work or in friendships. Matthew 6:34 reminds us, therefore, do not be anxious about tomorrow, for tomorrow will be anxious for itself. Sufficient for the day is its own trouble. Trusting in God's plan means letting go of that anxiety, taking things one day at a time, and believing that his way is better than our own. But here's the thing: this is a process. This is a learned process. There is a way to let go of the fear, let go of the doubt, to take steps forward, to sometimes even fail forward and learn from those things. That is a process, that is a skill set. And you don't have to figure this out all by yourself. If you're tired of letting fear and doubt keep you in the same place, it's time to do something different. And it's time to trust God's plan, his timing, and his ways. Let's get you moving forward with clarity and with confidence. And if you're ready to move past the doubt and get unstuck, I want to help you to get there. So drop a comment below or send me a message. I would love to get a complimentary session scheduled with you. And together we will work through your fears, rebuild your confidence, and help you walk in the purpose that God has for you and your life. So, with that, you guys, have a great rest of your day. I look forward to hearing from you soon. But until I see you tomorrow, remember, you are made for more. So, go light up this world with your purpose and with your